Hello there guys, this is Christy Lewis from Dostoevksy in Space. So I already have done a few things. So I just made some Doenjang-jjigae. So doenjang is a kind of Korean fermented soybean paste. I couldn't actually find specifically doenjang when I went to an Asian grocery store. I think this might be just, a different country's version of soybean paste. So it might be like miso or something, but it just said soybean paste on it and it wasn't in Korean. That's unfortunately all that I could find. Maybe I could find it on Amazon, but I'm not sure if it would still be good by the time it got here. The soup is very yummy, very veggie filled. It's a fermented soybean paste stew, and I used the shrimp version, which is on Mengchi's website. Her book has a beef version, which also sounds delicious. And I used some jarred anchovies because I couldn't get like dried anchovies unless it was in a gigantic amount. I just used some from a jar with oil, but I did buy some little packets of dried seafood to help with the flavor of the broth, and it really worked. So it's delicious. It's also got a zucchini in it and a potato, and the potatoes made it a little bit gummy, so I think I overcooked it a little bit. I really am enjoying Missing an Incomplete Life, and I love the main character so much, who is Xian, I think his name is, and he was in another show called Run On that I loved. His character in this is just really lovely and sweet. He's a try-hard, kind of a character. He's very much a Bepse character. You know the song Bepse by BTS? That's enough for now. Let me know your favorite Korean media that you recently enjoyed. Hey guys, it is March 8th, so it's the second day of Koreadathon and I've been enjoying it so much. I'm going to start with a few life updates. So first of all, Kevin got promoted to supervisor at his job. He's a juvenile probation officer. I also am now going to be writing press releases for the library, so yay. We are moving. The light is just disappearing. So those are mainly the life updates. Oh, and there's one more thing. My birthday is coming up, so Tiffany sent me a gift and I had to show you guys. It was so cute. Oh, that's even worse. Let me show you her gift that she sent. First of all, a sushi card. So adorable. And inside it says Dynamite. Obviously that's a BTS song. She wrote me a really sweet card and her handwriting is so nice, like way nicer than mine. And then also she wrote, I think it's happy birthday, 생일 축하해요. Thank you so much, Tiffany. That's Tiffany from Beautiful Minutia. I finished Lemon. There it is. So this is Lemon by Kwon Yeo-sun. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I looked up the Hangul and that's what it looked like it should sound like. So this was a really interesting novel. It's a mystery. I buddy read it with Una from the Codex Cantina. This was a book that he had been interested in reading for a long time, and he'd mentioned doing a Korean buddy read, and I was so excited that he already had a book picked out. It was fairly short. I think it was a really good mystery story, even though I won't say it was predictable, but reading it physically, it was kind of not surprising to me. It did get a lot of praise, so clearly a lot of people really enjoyed the mystery, and I really enjoyed the mystery, even though it wasn't shocking or surprising, but there were some really chilling parts. I really enjoyed the characters. It's about the murder of a girl around the FIFA World Cup in South Korea. So you're seeing the mystery from the perspective of several different characters. There are two main suspects. It's like a big debate about which one of them did it, if any of them did it. And a lot of the story is told from the perspective of the sister of the girl who was murdered. And it's kind of about the way society looks at women and judges them based on their looks. It really does test your assumptions quite a bit. So I enjoyed that part of it. There was some philosophizing in there that really brought it down for me. She tried to sort of say what the meaning of life was to these characters in the midst of tragedy. I just didn't think that was particularly successful, unfortunately. And Una said that he also agreed that was kind of a weak spot for both of us. And the way it was done was kind of cringy because it involved Christianity. And I'm a Christian and Una's very respectful of beliefs. I don't know what his beliefs are, but that was kind of cringy. But that was the lowest point of the book. Other than that, I would give it a probably 73 out of 100. But again, I was going to look at more quotes, but the book went back to the library and it's very popular, so I don't think I can get it back. Oh, did I share? Aside from the card, what Tiffany sent me was a BTS bookmark. So cute, right? First, I did finish 1Q84, books 2 and 3. I was very divided on this because I really loved the storyline. I thought the plot was amazing. There's a lot going on that I'm sure I don't even understand. Like there's metaphors all over the place, etc. But I didn't really appreciate Haruki Murakami's view of sex. I feel like he doesn't understand women very well, which ultimately isn't that big of a deal. Sometimes I love books, even if they don't understand some of the characters that they're writing very well. That's not in itself a reason to say I don't love a book when otherwise it's amazing. I was actually planning to rate this about a 75%, but by the end, there had been a really problematic scene. I don't want to spoil anything, but it really made it hard for me to feel comfortable with the book. So that one scene actually dropped it quite a bit. And just again, the fact that it didn't need to be this long, like literally you could have cut out half of this book and still gotten the amazing story behind it. It's like a parallel world kind of story. And I loved that whole feel of it. I found it very fun. But yeah, unfortunately, there's too many descriptions of women's bodies to make me comfortable as a woman, especially an underage woman. there was an underage girl in here that I did not approve of how Haruki Murakami treated her. But I still really, I appreciated his work and I will, I'm sure, try something else by him. Maybe the Wind Up Bird Chronicle. I've been told that 1Q84 is not the best place to start with him. Maybe partly because it is so long, maybe partly because he writes from a female perspective in that book, which he's not the best at. I liked the female characters too. Like I thought the female characters were really cool. Moving on, I also read the arc Son of the Deep by KB Hoyle, and this is a book that was just published by Owl's Nest Publishers, which is a brand new publisher, and this was totally adorable, perfect for young adults. I really love young adult fiction that's actually written for young adults because I feel like a lot of it now is written for adults because obviously adults like young adult fiction too, which is great. I mean, that's totally fine, but we can't start focusing young adult towards the adults who are reading it just because they want to see something in it that is not appropriate for teenagers. That does not mean it should be in young adult literature. That means that they need to branch out to other genres as well in order to get those things. So young adult literature is actually a place for teenagers, in my opinion, as a library worker who has been working on the teen program since its inception at my library. It has been very frustrating to watch young adult literature go from teens, actually for teens, to no longer for teens, making it hard to find teen books. So I really appreciated that Son of the Deep is for teenagers, and I haven't even talked about really what it is. So it's actually a retelling of The Little Mermaid, and it's from the perspective of a merman. I thought it was really well done. I ended up rating it like a 75 out of 100, which is really good, honestly. I'm just a sort of annoying person who has to have my heart broken in a book and to be sobbing by the end of it in order to rate it like 100%, or I have to come out with a bunch of quotes on the meaning of life. Highly recommend for the teens in your life. Really well done. I think the mermaid and merman elements were extremely well done. For example, there's a merman who goes onto land in this story. His reaction to everything on land is like how you would expect a sentient fish walking on land to react. Like not understanding that falling from a height could hurt you because in water you can just swim that distance, right? Stuff like that. So I thought it was very well done. Recommended. I also read A Single Shard by Linda Sue Park, and I was planning to read this for Koreadathon. I ended up just listening to it on audiobook later in the month. I sort of extended Koreadathon to the rest of the month, and I loved it so much. I thought it was fabulous, especially the ending. So hard-hitting, and it's only like a 3 to 4 hour book. I did get a comment from somebody on Instagram saying that they loved it as a child. So, you know, obviously some children would have loved it. I might have had a little more trouble with it as a kid, but I didn't really read historical fiction as a kid. So yeah, anyways, I did end up loving it though. And that was a recommendation from Tiffany from Beautiful Minutia. Thank you, Tiffany. And then I also read Fruits Baskets volumes. What is this? So this is the special edition volume 2. I love this so much. This series is just so fun. I have been reading it when I can't sleep, but I don't want to watch television. I just need something to focus on, and it's perfect. I read this in February. That's actually a reread for me. I loved reading those books when I was a teenager. And I talked about Ivanhoe quite a bit as well in my Feb Regency vlog last month, but I didn't actually wrap it up. So Feb Regency. I thought this was totally enjoyable. I listened to a lot of it, but I also had to dip into the text quite a bit because there are some historical explanations of like conflicts between the Normans and the native inhabitants of England. Sir Walter Scott, he invented the historical genre, the historical novel genre. I also read The Tempest, which was a Shakespeare play, obviously. I read this for Feb Regency as well. Fully enjoyed it. I just found this so colorful. It actually was about a tempest. I forgot, I haven't really been telling you the plots of the last several books. So this is about a crew that gets washed up onto an island that they think is deserted, but isn't. There's some long lost people on this island who are important, and there's some magic involved, and it's totally fun. I loved this. Ivanhoe is really hard to describe plot-wise, but it is a Robin Hood retelling of sorts. It didn't seem like super focused on one character to me. There's quite a large cast, and they're all like knights and forestmen and kings and backstabbing officials and King John. Fruits Baskets is about a family that has taken the form of the Chinese zodiac, but except they are Japanese. The members who have been inhabited by the spirits of the zodiac are transformed into those animals whenever they are hugged by the opposite sex, or if they become too weakened by like the elements or whatever, they just like suddenly transform. And that causes problems. It's really so funny. Like the illustrations are funny, the conversations are funny, the characters are funny. I think it's extremely well written, and it's actually surprisingly meaningful at a lot of times. We're actually following Toru Honda, who is a character who ends up living in one of the houses with some of the Zodiac members, and she is just a normal girl, but she just brings like a lot of light and joy into their lives because she's just that kind of person. Like she's a total Enneagram 9 ISFJ, and I think that's why I relate to her so much. I just really love her. I actually cosplayed as Toru Honda when I was in high school because I loved her so much. Love the series. And then A Single Shard by Linda Tu Park. So that one is about a boy who he's an orphan boy, and he just lives with a man who took him off the street when his parents died in a plague. And he lives with this man called Crane Man. He's a one-legged man. So the boy ends up spotting a potter at work and throwing pottery and stuff. And the boy just dreams of being able to throw beautiful pottery like that one day. And so he ends up volunteering to help the man with his work and sort of learning the trade. And it's a really good story. I definitely recommend that one. And then that was all that I have finished so far, I believe. I always seem to miss something in these wrap-ups. Right now, I'm actually reading Death on the Nile. That's the Agatha Christie book that is being made into a movie. I'm loving that, and I'm excited to watch the movie. My family's gonna watch it together once it is available. I will also be finishing The Idiot by the end of the month. I will be doing a live stream on Leslie's channel with Leslie and Una from the Codex, Tina and Pei from Attention. I'm loving this so much. I've only got about 50, 65 pages left because I read a whole bunch this morning, and it's really engrossing. I'm so afraid of what's gonna happen. As you can probably tell by all the Dostoevsky themed videos I've been doing lately, this one is inspiring me. I also started A People's History by Orlando Figes, and I'm buddy reading this with Danny from Spitally Speaks, and she is way ahead of me, but I just finished chapter 1 this morning, and I'm listening to it as well on audiobook. The Audible book is the only one that I'm aware of. The Audible audiobook is wonderful. Loving this. I'm going to continue with this next month. So for my April TBR, I'm planning to read Congo, some more of that. I hope to read David Copperfield for Kate Howe's Victorian book club. I hope to read Skyward Book 3, which is a read-along that's happening with Kate from the Literary Apothecary's Discord. There's a lot of things that I would just love to read, and we'll see if I get to them. I found that not putting pressure on myself and just having a list of things that I can pick and choose from is really the best way to go for me. A Bad Business, which is a book of Dostoevsky short stories that's coming out, and I think Stephanie and I from Mr. Richard's Read are going to buddy read that. I can't wait. I hope we do. And then there's a Gentleman Murderer book that's about the making of Crime and Punishment that I have on hold at the library, and I would really love to read that. And there's a book with Faith that I might be reading, Dr. Zhivago. I'm going to be doing a read-along in May with Evie from She Was Only Evie, and Tiffany from Beautiful Minutia, and Stephanie from Mr. Richard's Reads are also going to join us for that. So yay, that'll be in May that we're actually reading it, but I would like to prepare in April. And I'll be continuing with People's Tragedy. There's a few other books I'd love to work on. Those are the plans. Let me know what you're going to be reading. Let me know if you enjoyed this video, if you like sort of vlog style wrap-ups, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.